Welcome back to the channel. This video is a little different. As you can realize, you're not seeing me. So Samsung just released two new, what they're calling, I don't want to say laptops because they're not calling it a laptop. They're more calling it a smartphone enabled computer. Reason being, it is powered by a lot of the smartphone technologies. The chipset in it is from the smartphone. It's kind of built off the architecture of the smartphone. So one of the things about Samsung is that I realized that Samsung has been pushing an ecosystem, and we already know how important an ecosystem is. An ecosystem is super important, and Apple has shown us that having an ecosystem helps all of your products along, you know what I mean? If you have an iPhone, an iPad, a MacBook Pro, all these things just work seamlessly together. So that is what Samsung is trying to do, and they're pushing heavily on their ecosystem. I can see that in order for them to have an ecosystem as it relates to a smartphone with a computer, you know, they have to partner with Microsoft, and they are partnered with Microsoft to do that. As you know, the Samsung operating system is Android, so it's technically Android doing an hands-off to Microsoft to do a lot of the connectivity and the, you know, ecosystem like behavior. So there are a lot of similar ecosystem like behavior now on Samsung that are already on Apple, like continuity, similar to AirDrop. I'm not sure of the names that Galaxy are calling them, but there are a lot of very similar features. One of the features that I also noticed is that with the new Galaxy Book Pro, you actually can put your AirPod beside it and it recognizes the AirPod and allow you to pair it. So it is using that similar technology again, as I said, to how the Apple devices work, whereas you put your AirPods beside your iPhone and it pops up on your iPhone and you can pair it. There's no launch out there without a jab, and the jab in this is when they went to the laptop museum. It was so funny. So they went to the laptop museum and they were showing off a lot of laptops, and they were really talking about the Pro 360. And the guy at the Pro 360 in his hand is walking around and showing it off and say, yo, laptop used to be like this. So the laptop museum is basically showing the evolution of laptop and where laptop is coming from to where it is now. Pro 360 basically is like a two-in-one because it's a laptop that folds over into a tablet. So if you spin it, the 360 means that you can spin the monitor aspect of it all the way around, and now it becomes a tablet, so you can use it as a tablet. It is super thin, like ridiculously. These laptops are super thin, very light. Even though they're that thin, they were able to put in a full-size HDMI port. They were able to put in full-size USB. So these things are amazing. As a matter of fact, the launch, the presentation, it wasn't super impressive. It's not an Apple presentation, but the graphics when they're showing the laptops and stuff like that was, you know what I mean, I really liked it. The performance that they're saying that these laptops have, or I don't want to call them laptops, I'm just calling them books. These books have it seems good. I'm not sure because, you know, when it comes to a laptop, you have to test it. You have to actually put these up against the M1 chip. In order for really say, oh, this is amazing, you have to test it against the M1 chip. It seems pretty decent. These basically are the specs. So the Galaxy Book Pro comes in a variant of 13 inches and 15 inches. The 13 inch basically has a Super AMOLED screen, and they're 1080p laptops. So the screen is 1080p. Well, that's kind of low. They have 11 gen Intel i7 or i5 chips with the Intel Iris Z graphics. The storage is 256 to 512 NVMe SSD. The RAM is 8 gigs. These type of laptops seem very comparable with the MacBook 13-inch M1 laptops. It has one Thunderbolt 4, one USB, one USB 3, card reader, headphone jack, mic jack. So, you know, it has all the ports. It has a whole heap of I/O on it. It has a fingerprint reader also. It has Dolby Atmos sound, which is super impressive. It also has LTE, meaning that you can put a SIM card in it and connect to the internet through a SIM card. The 13 inch is 1.9 pound and the 15 inch is 2.5 pound. So the specs are the same against them, and the 13 inch coming in at $999 while the 15 inch coming in at $1,900. So that's the general specs of the computers. Alright, so the specs of the 360, and the 360 is the one that actually can do the 360 fold. So it's a 2-in-1. It's a laptop and a tablet. 360, the 13 inch is actually 2.3 pounds and the 15 inch is 3 pounds. So they are pretty light. Again, you have the 11th gen Intel chip. You have the Intel Iris Z graphics chip, 256 to 512 SSD, and on the 15 inch you can get 256 to 1 terabyte SSD. It has the same RAM, 8 gig or 16 gig LPDDR4. AI is the same on them. I don't really have to talk about that. However, on the 360 you can get 5G. So on the 360 you actually can get 5G on the 13 inch. Apparently the 15 inch don't have 5G. That's what I'm seeing on the specs right now. But the 13 inch you can get 5G. It also have Wi-Fi 6, which is standard right now. And that's it. That's this. They're pretty impressive, as I said. So I cannot speak to the power of the Intel next gen processors, how good they are comparing to the M1s. One of the main thing with this launch or this presentation though, they were hitting it with the ecosystem. They were talking about ecosystem. There was a lot of ecosystem talk, which I understand. Having an ecosystem is super important, especially now in 2021 when you would like all your device have some form of continuity feature or some form of feature that just allow you to move seamlessly from your smartphone to your computer to your tablet. That's one of the big things that they were talking about, and one of the features, something that I saw, which I know that a lot of Apple users would love for that to be possible with the iPad, is the person drag an image or a program from their computer to their tablet, and they were able to use their pen, their S Pen, to actually do work in that program itself. So I'm saying, whoa, that would be super great if Apple could actually allow you to use your iPad as a next input device when you're using your laptop. For instance, you're doing color grading or you're doing certain things in a Photoshop or in a Final Cut Pro, and you can slide over to your iPad and now you can use your Apple Pencil and do that. I believe that that's where Apple is going. That's the reason why they put the M1 chip in it, but who knows? Let's see what the future holds. Yeah, but overall, I'm super impressed with the event. It was a pretty decent event. I think they executed what they wanted to execute it pretty well. The idea of it, and as I said, yo, these laptops are super thin, and because more persons are thinking about laptops in the way of making it, because smartphones are so powerful these days, more and more companies are realizing that they can use almost the same smartphone technology and put it in a laptop form factor. The overall event was pretty good. I really enjoyed how Samsung kind of put together their event. And I have Apple bias. I use Apple products and stuff like that. So while watching the event, I was like, oh, well, that looked like something that Apple did. That looked like something that Apple did. That looked like something that Apple did. And I saw a lot of stuff in this event that I would like, whoa, that would be cool if Apple do that. You know what I mean? That would be cool if Apple do that also. So it was a pretty decent event. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy content like this, feel free to subscribe. This is ETT. Blessings and guidance.